Holy crap, guys! This is my 100th video on this channel. Can you believe that? It's crazy. Alright, so now that that's out of the way, I got some stuff to update. First of all, if you don't already know it, this week marked my first YA Rebels video. And you can go ahead and clicky here if you haven't seen it yet. And go watch it, or whatever, and comment, or not. Do whatever you like. But I'd be happy if you commented. And don't you want to make me happy? So I haven't done a whole lot of book shopping lately, which is kind of surprising considering we're getting towards those final weeks. I even got the final week's email from Borders. And this week, I don't know if you know it, this Monday through Wednesday, there's an additional 15% off the already 50 to 70% off. So I was actually considering going tomorrow with my mom out to one of the Borders that is near us, where none of them are actually near us, so it's going to be a drive. But yeah, 65% off YA, and then, you know, I do have some adult books that I want to, and so that would be like 85% off. That's a lot off a hardback book. So I'm considering it. I am considering it. So last Friday, when Gwen Hayes, author of Falling Under, came down for our author event that we had on Friday with Kimberly Durding and Tom Llewellyn and Megan Bostick, which went awesome, by the way. Super fun. Like 25 kids showed up. It was great. We gave away books. We did readings. I did my first reading of Velveteen. I just did like half of the first chapter, but kind of left it at the big, you know, exciting pivot point. And while I was there, let me see. While I was there, Beth, who's on YouTube quite a bit, and I think she's B Hearts Books, brought me Lips Touch 3 Times by Laini Taylor. I'm really excited. Laini Taylor is going to be huge, apparently, according to lots of industry folks who loved Daughter of Smoke and Bone, which is coming out soon. So I'm excited to read this. It has amazing illustrations in it, and I really, thanks Beth for giving me that. I had video of this exchange that happened, but because I have a Droid instead of an iPhone, I cannot get it to transfer. The iMovie software doesn't even recognize it at all, which is amazing and awesome. And of course, makes my phone completely useless for these kind of things. Photos fine, not movies apparently. So I won't be bothering taking any more videos with it. Getting back to Gwen, while she was down here, we did go to the Borders in Olympia and picked up a couple of books. I got my wife Kathy Griffin's official book club selection, and because I love the author photo on the back is amazing. Carolina will read it, she'll like that. I also picked up Hannah Moskowitz's Invincible Summer. Now she's sort of the old guard. Actually, she's old school YA rebel from back in the day. And I was actually talking to Liz from Consumed by Books on Twitter the other day, and I let it slip that I'm planning a YA Rebels challenge for December, where I plan on reading all the published books by the YA Rebels in December, because I'm going on a cruise. I haven't told you anything. You guys don't have any life updates from me, do you? Anyway, also, in the mail, I got Scott Tracy's Witch Eyes. Super excited about that, speaking of YA Rebels. And Greg Olson's Envy. And this book is pretty amazing. This is not a normal book size. Kathy Griffin's book is actually the normal size for a YA book. And this is, while taller, it is also wider, as you can see. So it's bordering on a square, which is a really interesting shape for a book, and it's really well done. The paper reminds me of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, so that's exciting and beautiful. That, of course, brings us to the TBR pile. I'm going to mix it up. I've got two things going on here. I've got some arcs that I have to get read in the time frame, because I'm planning to read horror from September all the way through the end of October, probably into November. And in that time frame, I've also got to read 5 arcs and a book for book club. I'll be listening to audiobooks in the time frame too. So 16 books, it's not unheard of. I read 10 books in June. I just started my 9th and 10th book in August. So I guess it's possible. I'm not gonna say it's not possible. Starting with the arcs, and I'll end with the Halloween stuff later. I'm gonna be reading Amy Garvey's Cold Kiss, Jessica Spotswood's Born Wicked, about witches, by the way, and Marissa Burt's Storybound. I'll also be, and I'm not going to look up the covers for these, I'll also be reading two dystopians before the middle of October, and that's Eve and Variant. So when I was thinking about putting the list together, I kind of sorted out the books that I had on my shelf, and I bought a whole lot of new books for this, just kind of making a decision about what to read. But I wanted to make sure that I wasn't doubling up on the types of horror. Like I didn't want two zombie books, or I didn't want two vampire books, or, you know, two like sort of freaky other kind of books. Those kind of things. I didn't want it to match up a whole lot. There needed to be something that set them apart, that made them different. And so I think I've done that pretty well. And I'll kind of mention the categories as I go along. The first one is Christopher Golden's Soulless. This is an older book, but it is supposed to be pretty scary, and it's about zombies. The next is Neil Shusterman's Unwind. And I've been told that this is, while it's dystopian, it's horrific enough that it'll fit the category. The next is Katie Allender's Bad Girls Don't Die. And this sounds like it's more of a creepy kind of a ghost story, which is, you know, it still fits into horror. The next is a historical, and that's The Revenant by Sonia Gensler. And it sounds like something just creepy enough that it'll fit in. Andrew Smith's The Marbury Lens. I've heard this is really effed up, and I can't wait to find out why. Lauren Miracle's Bliss, where apparently, you know, friendships can go really, really badly. There's that. And I am going to be reading Greg Olson's Envy, because it's set locally in Port Gamble, Washington, which is a creepy old town here, probably about an hour and a half's drive away. I have some backup books, but I want to mention that I am going to read an arc of The Sleepwalkers by J. Gabriel Gates. And that sounds like straight up horror. Not sure what to expect with that, but it's an arc, so we'll see. A couple of books. If one of these big books ends up being a DNF, I'm going to throw in these two little books because they're fairly short. The first one is Tighter by Adele Griffin, and this sounds like a sort of a rebooting of some of the John Saul books from the 80s, set on a small island, you know, someone comes to visit and then weird stuff happens. And then a book by my mentor from the Apocalypses, and that is Carrie Harris's Bad Taste in Boys. And this is a horror comedy. You'd think I would have that in there automatically, and I probably should. I'll probably end up reading it. Who knows? The other is Rotters by Daniel Kraus, and I've heard this is really very scary, so can't wait to get to them. That's it. What are you guys reading for Horror Month? Or Horror Month-ish? Leave me a note in the comments. I want to know what you're reading specifically. Or, you know, do a video and respond.